we take the first steps toward a new future for humanity. Today, we begin to make our dream reality.
Mass Effect Andromeda is a new game from BioWare, set in the Mass Effect universe, that is a new story separate from the original trilogy. They've promised a lot with this game being the first Mass Effect to be open world. Unfortunately, it falls short on nearly every front, and is definitely the worst game in the series. With massive technical issues, choices that feel like they have no effect on the story, and a frustrating combat system. The game takes place between the events of the second and third game, where the four Cyrodiil Council races and the Quarians are planning to populate new homeworlds in a faraway galaxy called Andromeda. Each race sends 20,000 citizens on a 600-year journey on ships called Arks. The selected leaders of these Arks are known as Pathfinders. You play as either Scott or Sarah, the son and daughter of Alec Rutter, who is your Ark's Pathfinder. Once you arrive in Andromeda, you are meant to head to the Nexus, which is a huge space station that serves as a centre of government, a living area, and a base of operations for the Pathfinders. That should be finished construction by the time you get there, by the people that were sent before you. Everyone on board the Arks was frozen to make the journey, but once people started waking up on the ship upon its arrival to Andromeda, you realise everything's not as it seemed, with the planets not having a suitable climate to live on and a half-built nexus. You're told that the other Arks never made it, and that they have run into a hostile alien race that has stopped construction. So it is your duty to investigate the planets and these aliens, to see why the climates are so different from what was predicted. Most of the story is set around you and your close team that you'll work with, exploring new worlds and trying to stop an evil alien race. There are two standout characters in your team that have interesting backstories, but the rest are generic and forgettable. The story is delivered in cutscenes and talking segments, where you have branching choices in the shape of a dialogue wheel, where you can pick an emotion behind a certain response that is meant to give you more choice compared to other Mass Effect games, where you pick in between good and evil. But most of the dialogue options have no purpose and make no difference to the story apart from helping you seduce your other characters in your team. The game starts slow, taking about 6 to 8 hours before you can start exploring other worlds and getting into the story. The main enemy in the game is intriguing at first, but ends up being very predictable. The story as a whole has some pacing issues and takes around 30 hours to finish. Andromeda's best parts are talking to your team and why they decided to leave for a fresh start. Some of the voice acting and writing in the game is very poor, and there are no standout performances.
Right. It's just these assholes kill Kirkland.
Hostile shuttle incoming.
The gameplay is based around combat, exploration, driving, and talking segments. The combat system can work well at times with your new spacesuit that you can use to jump up in the air or move sideways, that also has some cool new abilities that you can swap out on the fly, but at the same time has lots of flaws, like auto cover that hardly works as intended, a button to holster your weapon that breaks the flow of combat. There are a big range of weapons that you can craft and customize, but the menus that you use to do this, however, is a mess and hard to navigate. In combat, you're generally assisted by 2 companions, but unlike the other games, you can't equip them with weapons or armor. You can only give them orders like move here and stay. For allies and enemy AI is average at best, with them just sitting there behind cover. They don't run flanks, they don't push you, with all enemies being easy to outsmart and take down. There just isn't much depth to the combat, and it feels like a missed opportunity. Exploration can be good at times, with some interesting planets and areas. Finding your way around can be a nightmare, with the top compass navigation system that tells you where to go only works properly half the time and can be misleading more than anything. You have a vehicle to drive around in called the Nomad that handles quite well and has booster rockets to help you traverse the world, making it quite easy to get from point A to point B.
It's an unusually complicated syntax.
I can see that. Try a recursive search.
I will need a moment to...
Some of the worlds that you visit in the game are great, with lots of varied and interesting locations, especially towards the end of the story. However, the navigation menu that you use to transport from world to world is mundane, and it can be hard to tell where you have been or where you should go, and you can't skip the cutscene that plays every time you move your ship to look at another planet, which can be very annoying. There are 2 new races that were introduced in this game, with their models and backstories being pretty interesting. The world design is definitely the best part of the game. Andromeda's performance is subpar, and is not what you expect from a AAA game. It has lots of bugs and poor animations. I've experienced 4 hard crashes on my playthrough. BioWare has apologised for lots of the problems that this game has, and they've already started patching the game, and have laid out a plan of how they plan to fix it. But this game should have never been released like this.
Got it.
The game has a very good soundtrack, and is a step away from 1, 2 and 3's synth-heavy music, which may annoy some fans. I can see they were trying something different. I just wish they'd let you listen to it more often, because it only plays during set pieces, while during most fights and long talk segments, there is no music in the background, which is a big disappointment.
Godspeed, Pathfinder.
The score, 5 out of 10. The only people that I can recommend play this game are die-hard Mass Effect fans. But even then, wait for a sale, and wait for BioWare to finish patching the game.
What happened?
Thanks for watching. You guys know the deal. If you logged in and can be stuffed, like, comment, subscribe, and if not, have a nice day.